Heckser-Ohlin theory. The Heckser-Ohlin theory was designed by two Swedish economists, Eli Heckser, a businessman which based his theories in the laissez-faire from Adam Smith, meaning no intervention from the state, who met Berlin-Ohlin when he was assigned as his thesis supervisor. Berlin-Ohlin received numerous prizes from his theory and even a Nobel Prize in 1977. This theory is used to determine the frontier and possibilities of international commerce in order to observe the comparative advantages of market agents. This model explains the functions of commerce and how to study the specialization of each country when it's about foreign trade. In here, we combine different productions and capital factors to understand how they use the resources for trade. We will explore these terms with more clarity through the class. To understand this model, we have to consider that each country has different resources and a different level of work productivity. In here, we are going to take in consideration the factors of production, which are the resources that an enterprise, a person, or in this case, a country, needs to create and produce goods and services. The production factors are variable. We are considered land, capital, and mineral sources. This is when we get to the comparative advantage, using the term of abundance by meaning how much of a resource a nation has, and intensity. That means how much technology of production the country has. How much is their capability to reproduce this good or service? International trade is largely driven by differences in countries' resources. This model is also known as the factor proportions theory because it emphasizes the importance between the ones we mentioned before. The abundance, that is the proportions of something that a country has, could it be any type of resource, and the intensity by the factors of production that each country has. In the moment they interact, we find the different variables that this theory needs to work. The easiest way to explain that is imagine a country that never trade with any other country, and suddenly these two economies start to interact and trade with each other. With two countries, two goods, and two factors of production, in which one is considered a home and the other considered a foreign, we find that mobile factors start to interchange and to mobilize. The theory gives us different assumptions that the country must comply in order to be analyzed with the theory. The first one is the perfect competition, by meaning that both countries must have the same opportunity to sell and to buy with the same conditions. The second is that there are no movements of factors. The capital and the workforce stay in the home country. The third one is that both countries have the same quality in the products that they are selling. The fourth one is that it's easy to analyze and quantify how much of the factors are being used and involved. And the fifth one is that the techniques of production must be identical in both countries. But right now we are going to see some problems with these assumptions. When we talk about restrictions, we talk about problems. For example, the prices cannot be equalized in different countries because there exist costs such as tariffs and import quotas. Also, the labor and the capital are assumed to be homogeneous, by meaning they must be the same. But, as we saw before, each country has a different level of resources and a different level of technology. This causes distortions. The distortions that exist in the market are the monopolies or the trade unions or the different tariffs. Why? Because these kind of groups have an influence in the prices of the products. Each country has different technology and a different way to apply. We can conclude from this that no country can sell at the same price that other, meaning that there are no such thing as a perfect competition between two countries.
This model says that when there are more than two goods, it is more complicated to evaluate factor intensity and factor abundance. Furthermore, how do we measure the factor intensity of exports and imports where there are thousands of products traded between countries? The answer will be geographic distribution of productive resources. The basic insight of Heckser-Ohlin model is that traded commodities are really bundles of factors: land, labor, and capital. The exchange commodities internationally is therefore indirect factor. Arbitrage transferring the services of otherwise immobile factors of production from location where these factors are abundant to location where they are scarce. Perhaps the most important implication of the HO model is the option to sell factor services externally transforms a local market from factor services in a global market. According to the Heckser-Ohlin model, all the countries have the same production technology. Some of the advantages are increasing opportunity costs, complete specialization of one good, they will only focus in that good, redistribution of income between labor and capital, and all the countries will export goods that use their abundant factor intensively. Now, let's see an example. Imagine there are only two countries in the world, Mexico and Germany. Mexico has a comparative advantage in labor, and Germany has a comparative advantage in capital. Each country will produce goods that use their comparative advantage. Mexico will ask for resources that use capital, and Germany will ask for resources that use labor. It's a win-win situation. Now, let's take for example Volkswagen. Its main headquarters are in Germany. Headquarters is equal of capital. Then we have that some parts of the cars of Volkswagen are fabricated or assembled in Mexico. Mexico, as we said, has a comparative advantage in labor.